Hey everyone, welcome back. Do you have a dryer like this that isn't spinning? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to troubleshoot it and how to replace the dryer belt. So first thing, when you start it, you still hear something going on. You hear it trying to run. If you take a listen, it sounds like this. But when we open the door, we don't see the drum spinning. So first thing to troubleshoot, you're going to make sure that door switch is clicking. If it doesn't click, you got a whole different issue. Now what I'm doing is holding down the door switch and starting it. And as you can hear, the motor's running, but the drum isn't spinning, so we know we've got a belt issue. This is pretty much going to apply to any dryer that looks like this with the lint screen on the top and a mechanical timer. Whirlpool, Maytag, Kenmore, Amana. You're going to want to take the lint screen out, take these two Phillips screws out. Then you're going to get a gasket scraper or putty knife, whatever you want to call it. You're going to push in and then you're going to pop the lid up. And as you can see, there's a belt mark there where a belt should be, where it used to be, but it's not anymore. Next thing you're going to want to do, safety first, glove, glasses, PPE, you're going to want to turn the power off or unplug it. As you can see, the plug was all the way at the floor, so I opted to just flip the breaker. Next thing, you've got that door switch plug there. You're going to want to take that plug out. Sometimes it'll just come right out. Sometimes you have to get like a pick tool and kind of pry it out. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get, I believe it's a 5/16 inch bit to get these two screws that hold the front on. I like to use this 90. However, you could probably use something else. Alright, so we got that one out. Now we're going to do this one. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is lift up. You're going to pull out just a little bit and then lift up. And as you'll see later in the video, there's little hooks that this front panel slides onto. And you want to lift up off of those hooks. Oh wow, look at that. What do we have here? We've got the belt. As you can see, this one is messed up. This one's all shredded up. And basically what I'm doing now is I'm just inspecting, just kind of looking to see if I see anything extra, because every once in a while you'll have something else going on that isn't just a belt that's old that snapped. So that's the idler pulley. What I just spun was the motor, and the idler pulley just slides into a little groove on the bottom of the cabinet. Alright, so now I went out to the truck. I got my replacement belt as well as my dryer. Got my knee pads on there. Remember, safety first. You're going to want to invest in your health while you're young. So I usually tell people stretch. At least for me, I try to stretch every single morning. I put those knee pads on as soon as I put my shoes on in the morning. And I wear my gloves and my glasses all the time. Alright, so we got our replacement belt. It was a little bit wound up in that packaging, so what I'm doing now is I'm just flattening it out, just making sure that it's not too twisted up, because we don't want this belt to flip at all when it's installed. Alright, so as you can see, I got it roughly where that belt line is. Sometimes what I like to do, I actually like to put the belt on and then lift it up by the belt to move it. However, in this case, I just move it to the side. This dryer actually wasn't too bad. I've seen, and you guys may have seen on the channel, I've had some of these dryers where there is just tons of lint. I'm talking like 1-2 inches thick all over the bottom of the cavity of the cabinet, as well as change. I mean, I've had dryers where handfuls of change are just sitting right where I'm vacuuming. There's handfuls of change. So this one actually wasn't too bad. This guy, I think he's just a single guy, lives alone, does his own laundry. But I figured, hey, you know what? Yeah, I could just leave it, but why not? You know what? I might as well just vacuum it out while I'm in here. And there you go. I'm checking the rollers there. I like to spin them just to see Every once in a while you'll have them where they don't spin, and then that will require attention. I'll let the customer know, hey, you got a seized roller here. That's going to cause an issue at some point. There we go with the knee pads again. This guy with the knee pads. I know, right? All right, so what we're doing now is we're going to put the drum back in. As you can see, I'm lifting up on the belt, trying to keep tension on it, keep it flat. And then you're going to see here what I do is I want to get the lip of that drum over those wheels into the channel around the circle. So that way it's on the wheels and now it's exactly where it needs to be. You guys are actually going to get a great point of view here of how to put the belt on the idler and the motor. So you can see there the idler, it slides in one way and then slides back a little bit. And then what you're going to want to do is push the idler to take tension off of it and then wrap it around the motor. And what I like to do personally, I like to spin it by hand a little bit, lift it up, support it, and spin it by hand just so I can see, make sure everything's good, especially with some of these belts because they come flipped around in the packaging. And I want to make sure that it's all flat, that there's no twists, that it's not going to flip. So this guy doesn't have to call me back in an hour or a day or a month and say, hey man, my belt's messed up again. You know, they say, what do they say? It's something like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, something like that. So it's like, hey, do it right the first time, and whatever that is. And like I said, going back to the PPE, you know, wear your gloves, wear your glasses, safety shoes, knee pads, you know, whatever you want to do, because that's going to pay off in the long run. All right, so I just vacuumed out a little bit there, hardly anything, but hey, you know what? The vacuum's out. I'll just go ahead and vacuum it. Now this part, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This part is a little bit tricky, especially for me when I first started. This was very tricky when I first got into appliance repair. Now it's not too bad because I've done it hundreds of times, but essentially we're doing the reverse of what we did earlier. We're trying to put this front panel on, and you've got these hooks on both sides that you have to slide the front down onto, while simultaneously lifting up the drum so that it can rest on that lip. So there's the hook there. You can see into that hole it hooks up into. And hopefully this video will help you guys, because honestly experience is what does it. Alright, we got that side. And you'll know because you'll feel it hook on there and it won't be able to come off. Sometimes what you have to do, like you see here, I move that panel out slightly. And then we get it slid on. There we go. Now we're going to get those screws. We're going to put them back in. That's what I was talking about with the drum. Sometimes you have to lift it up so then it can rest on the bushing or the bearing or the lip, whatever you want to call it, of the front panel. Alright, we got one. Now we got the second one in there. And sometimes it can be a little tricky with these screws too, because sometimes they don't screw into the panel. They actually screw into like this little metal clip. And sometimes that'll pop off. Make sure you put that in. That right there, that door switch, make sure you connect that again, because if you don't, this thing won't work. Alright, and then when you just push down, pop the top back on. Alright. Flip the breaker, test it out. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press on that door switch, turn it on, just so that way you guys can visually see. Isn't that beautiful? The drum's spinning. And we did it. You guys did it. Good job, everyone. Hey. Alright, so now we're pretty much done. All we have to do is put those two Phillips screws back in and put the lint filter back in. Sometimes what I'll do is, like you saw there, I'll actually test it out before I do that, because you know, every once in a while something happens where you got to take it back apart again, figure something else out. Now be very careful with this. Every so often I'll drop a screw down there. One of those screws, it'll just pop out. It won't cooperate. So for you guys, I might even suggest taking a towel and kind of stuffing it in there for a second while you put those screws in. Oh yeah, that little, somebody tipped me with a piece of chocolate the other day, and I forgot I put that in my tool bag. So hey, well, thanks everyone for watching. Hope this helped. Have a great day, and subscribe and like.